Do you ever wonder where the government comes up with all of their numbers? It's always a mystery to me. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, June the 16th, as the year is flying by and the markets continue to fly higher. But, of course, last week we had a number of interesting economic data numbers. I guess that's kind of a little bit of a weird way to say that, but I always wonder, where does the government get their numbers, and why do so many people believe in what the numbers that are reported? And we'll talk about more of that in our commentary. But just one basic number to realize is that since the year 2021, out of all the jobs created, 66% of those jobs have gone to illegal aliens versus 33% going to Americans. And the job that the Americans are getting are service jobs, which don't pay shit. Okay, so as we continue to have supposedly falling inflation, well, I would argue with that. Again, I think that's still a bunch of bullshit. Let's look at the cost of food, look at the cost of beef, look at the cost of everything else, and I don't see any decrease. I see an increase, which tells me that the Federal Reserve cannot cut, and there's a greater chance of a hike. I know that I'll get a bunch of hate mail as usual, especially from one of my good friends that'll tell me, well, but they said, well, I don't give a shit what they said. They were going to cut in March. Now it's June. Now there's talk in July, but these numbers are way too strong. If they're right, now I don't think the numbers are right, but that's a story for another day. In the meantime, the Fed, if they cut, they're either cutting for a recession or for political reasons. Okay, the G7 wants to use frozen Russian assets to back Ukraine. Well, I'm sick of backing Ukraine. I'm sick of my tax dollars going it, and I don't think it's legal to take frozen assets and use them for other purposes. And besides the fact that, what do you want to do, stir up some more problems with China? Do we not have enough going on right now with an extremely weak leader here? President Biden has done nothing, and he has cleared the way and opened the door to destroy this country by allowing China to move in closer, by allowing all the Chinese illegal immigrants to come in here. And if you don't think, I gave you a theory a couple of weeks ago about the price of grains and what China was trying to do with the farmland. I think I'm right. I think I'm getting closer to seeing that China is keeping their thumb on the scale of the grains, and I think that they're trying to take over the farmland. And if we let them do that, God help us all, because we got problems. The banana republic we're living in with a banana republic president and the rest of the administration that doesn't give a shit, that continues to tell you how good the economy is. And of course, the producer price index fell. Okay. I would like to argue with that too, but I won't. That's the numbers. Again, the numbers are numbers. But, the Biden administration has used regulations and taxes to punish success rather than incentivize it. And again, I've gone over this with you before many times on Bubba's Bottom Line, and it's very simply put, they've made regulations to help the big guys. They have regulations to help Meta, to help Google, to help every other major company. But if you're a new startup, you have no chance to compete because of the regulations. Now, again, that is not a free market society. That is not, I don't think, what we want as Americans. The inopportunity to compete. Remember, if you take away competition, you take away product quality. If you take away product quality, you also take away the pricing power of competition. You have taken away and destroying the free market system, which is exactly what this globalism piece of shit administration, along with the piece of shit squad, want to do to this country. They want us to be broke and bums and be dependent on government, which is why they continue to hire more government employees. Okay, you are definitely poorer today than you were 4 years ago. You can debate it all you want, but your spending power is dramatically less. You have not made enough if you're a market participant. And again, there's only 7% or 10% of the market or 90% of the market gains are controlled by 10% of the population. Okay, so again, the average guy is not benefiting. The average guy and gal or person is in a recession. Most of the middle class is in a recession. And of course, I know one of my friends that will certainly comment to this, but of course, you're among the 1%ers or the 2%ers. You're not down with the rest of the public. So again, it's easy to say when you're sitting in your perch how good things are, but when you're sitting on the front lines and you're in the middle class, you can see that the economy sucks. Everything it has done sucks. Social Security is going to be cutting probably prices. Again, I'm taking my Social Security because I don't think it's going to be there, and I think that they're going to cut the amount that you get. They're going to cut benefits because they've stolen all the money. Okay, they have used all the money for other purposes that maybe like helping fund the Ukraine war, like everything but to help Israel. Which again, if you're an American Jew and you like voting for this idiot, okay. If you see what they're doing to Israel, if you see what they're doing to Jews, you watching what's going on all these campuses around the country, God help you. Okay. The Fed is going to lose some of its key insight statistics. Maybe we should just lose the Fed. Maybe that would be the better statistic to lose because the Fed is a worthless criminal organization. Well, we'll call them a cartel, not a criminal organization. The Fed is nothing but a cartel. When the Fed was started, they convinced the government to start this thing. And there were 4 major participants: the Rothschild family, Paul Warburg, the JP Morgan, and the Rockefellers. Okay. Convinced it so that they could glom and steal all the money and devalue your currency. The Fed is a totally worthless organization along with the rest of the central banking system around the globe. If they would at least be audited, it would be at least we'd have a fair shot. But very much like the banking system itself, where over 600 regional banks are in trouble. And I would bet a lot of money if we get a true audit of the actual banks now, that you would find out that more than that are in trouble, and that the next collapse, when it comes, will be because of a housing collapse and a banking collapse once again. And of course, thank God, you, the American citizen, will get to bail them out again. Aren't you happy? Let's stand up and give the government a round of applause. Okay. But again, Biden, listen, if you're an African American, he treats you like garbage. Okay. All of the poor side of that, the marginalized, everything that you do. I don't get it. Okay. I think that at the end of the day, okay, the only good news of the week is finally a judge had the balls to step up and stop these trans swimmers and athletes trying to get a payday at the expense of going into women's sports. Okay. I think that we've got some big issues here, and certainly the transgender movement. Look, if you want to be transgender, God bless, but you don't belong in women's sports. Okay? It's that simple. You don't belong in women's sports because you have an unfair advantage. Okay, that's all. And you want to do what you want. Hey, I got nothing against you. You can do whatever you want. But when it comes to affecting other people, you have no right there. Okay, and of course, a federal judge blocks the ATF. Okay, they're trying to take your freedom. If you don't recognize that, then you should really probably go see a doctor to understand what freedom is. Because since the terrorist attack of 9/11, okay, and they put the Patriot Act in, they have stole your freedom. And every year subsequently since then, they have taken more and more away. It's the same as conservative news can't be reported. They want to get the guns. They want to take care of all this. And I say this to you, okay? I'm a Second Amendment believer, okay? I own guns. I'd never owned them until I was 64 years old because of what was going on. But the criminals are always getting the guns. You can put all the restrictions you want. You can shut down all of the stores. You can shut down all of the legal gun operators. The criminals are getting the guns, okay? So if you think that by trying to stop legal people who have obtained their weapons legally, you're a moron, okay? Because the criminals are getting the guns. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. Let's step out here for a break, and we'll be back with more right after the break. Well, kids, what's going on? Of course, as you know, we have sponsors and we have brokerage sponsors. And just in full disclosure, I have other brokerage accounts. So the brokers I recommend, I do use them. I do also have other brokers, but it was a good reason that I tell you the brokers that I use. And of course, it's TRADIER Brokerage, $10 a month flat. Can use our automation at no charge except for hedging, which is a licensing fee. But again, $10 a month flat. Think about how much money you save. Saves me $100,000 a year. And of course, Capital Trading Group for our futures and commodities. A lot of direction, partners on a couple of our products, and wealth charts. Okay, both all scrolling down to the side. And of course, don't forget about our high school program as well. And now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, June the 16th. And of course, we had another big market up week for the week. It's amazing that the markets can continue to go higher. I find it extremely it's frustrating that we continue to climb the wall of worry. And again, I don't come long. It certainly has benefited me, as you know, from our positions that we disclosed to my IRA and my 401k and everything else. But it really has taken away a lot of the actual trading opportunities that come in. And of course, if you really look deep inside, what you're seeing is only a few stocks are controlling the entire market structure. But in the meantime, as we always go through our positions, and of course, going into the week, and again, these will be the direction that things should be, not necessarily our positions tomorrow. Okay, just remember that, because at the end of the day, our positions tomorrow could be flat or they'll be in the direction I'm giving you now. And going into tomorrow, we'll be long the S&P, I'll be short the Dow, long the NASDAQ, and short the Russell, which worked out pretty good all last week. But again, at the end of the day, those are how they stand right now. Okay. In the dollar, we don't trade the dollar anymore, and that's only because I get tired of getting ripped off from the firms in New York. Okay, it's got nothing to do with our belief in the dollar or non-belief in the dollar. It's purely a dollar and cents thing, but we would be long dollars right now. Bitcoin, we would be long Bitcoin. Bonds and notes, we are long bonds and notes. Okay, the euro currency, we are short. And in gold, we are short. Silver, we are short. In the copper, we are short. And in natural gas, we are long. And crude oil, we are long. So again, you can see they had all pretty good weeks. But again, it has nothing to do. All it has to do is what the trend is right now. Okay, in the grain markets, we're long corn, short beans, short wheat. Okay. And again, I don't understand the grain market. What's going on here? It is totally a fantasy land, or actually, it's depressing to watch what's going on in the grain markets. It's not fantasy land. It's a depression world, because this is where I'm concerned about the Chinese or China trying to keep the prices down to take over the farmland, because you already know that Bill Gates owns a majority of the farmland in this country right now. He's the biggest individual farmland owner that there is. And in the meats, it's amazing. Cattle just keeps going higher. I keep getting shorter. This is a bad thing. I don't ever recommend that for anybody to fight the market as I am right now. It is against all of our principles, but it just doesn't make sense. And as I said on our TV the other day, it's not logical, but in the meantime, it is what it is. But I am short cattle. We don't trade anymore, and I am long hogs, which again would be the place you would think they'd be going for protein. But right now, I guess everybody can still afford, even with the massive debt that Americans face and the credit card debt, I guess they're still buying steak. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. And in the soft goods, we're long cocoa, we're short OJ, we're long coffee, we're long sugar, and we're short cotton. Okay. So again, we'll see what it looks like. I expect, and again, I'm not telling you the trend's going to change. I do expect one day, possibly this week, to have a pretty substantial sell-off. And again, only because the markets are extremely overbought. So again, it's not that I'm negative the market. I just expect to see some pullback. And again, it would be healthier for the market in actuality, in fact, that if you did have a little bit of a pullback. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Up Horowitz. It is Sunday, June the 16th. We're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary. We'll be right back. Well, kids, again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but remember our brokerage partners, our trading partners, and remember I have other brokers, but Trader Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, Wealth Charts, and our high school program scrolling on the side or along the bottom. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course, as we do every week, I give you a little bit of what's on my mind and commentary-wise. Not that I don't do it throughout the entire program, but I'm going to do it again now. But again, I asked earlier, where does the government get their numbers from? And I think that, and this is not just this administration, this is for the last, 20, 25 years. How do they arrive by these numbers? Okay. And which numbers do they choose to report? It makes absolutely no sense. There's no way that inflation is 3.4%. Okay. There is no way on God's green earth that inflation is 3.4%. And they got a big break to get the number lower with the low cost of oil. Well, now how's it going to equate when oil is higher? But of course, what you don't understand is they only account 4% for food and energy. Okay. But there is no way that prices have come down. Have you been to a restaurant lately? If they're still open, have you seen the wages? And then of course you talk about the jobs creation. Okay. Which we're making more government jobs. Now, again, I think government is too big to begin with. But remember, every time the government hires somebody, you and me get to pay a piece of what that employee does. So we get bullshit numbers, okay, that are all lies. And again, you can look at the jobs number. Every jobs number, or 80% of them, are revised lower, and they're not even good jobs to begin with. The BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is responsible for a lot of reporting, is going to change some of their metrics, which will change the numbers, okay? Not to the better for you and me so we get a better understanding, but to hide more of the bullshit, okay? So basically, you're getting fed a bunch of bullshit. And my point to you is very simple. Look in the mirror, look at your own bank account, look at your own spending, look at, can you afford to move forward? Are you able to save money? Can you handle an emergency? And then tell me how good this administration that we have now has done. I think they've done a horseshit job. Of course, that's why Biden's rating is the lowest in history. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. And of course, Wednesday, markets are closed for Juneteenth. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.